slept on the concrete floor, no bedding or cloth. The room stank of the sweat, urine, and bodily filth of many men crammed together. If they were lucky enough to be taken to the toilet, all the men washed in one vat. If they were allowed to bathe, they used that same water. For the last few men, there was hardly any point. When the soldiers brought Kay food, they kicked it away, laughing. "Even dogs are treated better than you," they said. It didn't matter, because Kay's throat was too swollen for him to eat. Often, they urinated on the food before they left. Often, Kay was taken to another room for beatings with gun butts and wooden poles until he could no longer bend his right knee. It seemed strange, he thought, since he and the other young men travelling with him had surrendered to the army on May the 10th, 2009. They had carried white flags and declared themselves civilians. But Kay was asked to stand in another group, those suspected of being Tamil Tigers, a Tamil guerrilla force fighting for an independent state. His group was taken to a brutal army camp instead of a civilian one. At first, the torture was routine, a few hours every few days along with other prisoners. They were beaten, then photographed, and coerced into signing confessions that they had helped the LTTE, the liberation group, the Tamil Tigers. Kay signed his confession on his 5th day in the camp. After signing, Kay thought his interrogations would ease, but soon he was spotted by members of other political parties and paramilitary groups, EPDP and PLOTE, who identified him as having helped the Tamil Tigers to hide gold. One August day, Kay was taken into the interrogation room with 10 men who demanded to know where the Tamil Tigers hid their gold. As he knelt, panting, trying to convince them that he knew nothing, he felt a heat near his shoulder. He turned to see a soldier with a metal rod approaching. The end of the rod glowed red. Even through a terrified grey haze, it was easy to make out the glow in the room. Before Kay could think, the rod sank into his right arm. An intense heat shot through his body, and he passed out to the sound of his own distant screams. He woke to more questions about the Tamil Tiger gold, and to the sensation of new wounds. Now his back, too, was badly burned, though he didn't remember it happening. Then the gaggle of men held him down and poured gasoline over his face, his back, covering his fresh wounds. They threatened to set him alight unless he revealed the location of the gold. "I swear I don't know," he said for the 100th time. "I'm not LTTE. I'm a jeweler's assistant." As Kay choked on gasoline, an itch crept up his back and arms and distracted him from the foul taste, the smell. Then the itch became a searing, and the screams poured out of him again. He glanced at his arm, strange the details one remembers, and saw the dry skin of his long confinement now wet and slimy and peeling away. The other men in the concrete room stared as Kay was dumped back inside. It was always like this, when someone was taken out to be tortured and then returned. A silent reception, a mix of happiness that the man had survived, that they could all survive, and fear of what had been done. Then, for some moments, the collective realization that this might be how they all would die, and that this sorrow was shared just then by every other man in the room. Kay curled up on his left side, the only side that wasn't burned. He tucked his knees into his chest. In that strange angle, he prayed for sleep. But the pain was too sharp, and the gasoline fumes too noxious. Alone in his corner, he trembled, waiting for sobs to release his aching muscles. But he had no strength and no tears, and he nodded off with the craving unquenched. "Tomorrow," a kind voice nearby whispered, "if they let us bathe, you can be first." In the morning, an officer announced that they could bathe, and everyone agreed that Kay should go first. The man who slept closest helped Kay remove his shirt. "Gentle, gentle,"